Hey, this is Karila with Metal Life Magazine. I am here at the Roxy. I'm here with Paul Delaney from Black Anvil. How you doing?
I'm doing.
Yeah, you're just doing? So I guess I want to start off with something you mentioned in an interview that I thought was really interesting, and I'm wondering, since you're coming... No, don't even worry about it. I mean, I do like to extract the stuff, but don't worry about it. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, so you talk shit about Lars Ulrich, and we're going to expose that right now.
I would never. I back that motherfucker forever. I don't give a shit.
So you mentioned in an interview that you have a desire to see on this particular tour a younger and hungrier crowd, someone who's a little more receptive than your usual crowd. So I guess I'm going to kind of dissect this question to a few parts. First of all, did you get what you expected from this tour as we're wrapping it up?
Yes.
For this, yes. Awesome. That's good to hear. What kind of describe the energy that you
discussing this. We were supposed to go out with Mayhem and Inquisition initially. That was supposed to be September. And
not a U.S. thing, was it?
Yeah.
What?
It got pushed back. There was some shit on Mayhem's end, some business stuff, whatever it was. But they had to cancel till 2015. We obviously needed something to fill in September, and our friend who booked Skeletonwitch, a very close friend of ours, offered us this tour. I'm always the accuser and the opposer, so I'm like, we're the fucking outcast band. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, they're three different bands. So we're not the outcast. Each band is different.
What crowd in particular, was there a moment where you felt like the energy was just so palpable? It just met or exceeded your expectation?
That sort of mainly happens within us, actually.
Okay.
I don't even really need a crowd to feel that. Like, I'd always say there's a point in our set, like, when I just sort of snap and no one fucking matters. And yeah, me, Rafe, and Gary, the guitar player, have been playing music together for like 20 years now. So
right, you guys have been together.
Everyone fucking leave us alone. We're having fun. That's what it boils down to. But if I had to give an answer, I'd say some of the Texas shows were Houston and Austin were really good. Chicago was killer the first show. Like almost every show was really like good. Considering we're first of three, like Boston, there was no opener and the room was packed and the show was great.
And I mean, I can say this from my perspective without even having seen you yet, is that my generation is so young. We're really hungry for an awesome band that we can really get behind, and I feel like...
Which I think worked better for us than, let's say, a tour with Mayhem Inquisition. I like both bands. It would have been good to tour alongside both bands. We've played with Inquisition, like we know those guys enough.
Badass.
That, I was looking forward to that. But this sort of is better for us.
Okay. You did mention at one point that before you worked with Jay Robbins, which honestly everything happens for a reason, and I think there's a reason that he was behind that and made the album as, not as ambient, but as dimensional as it was. But would you ever consider working with Magnus, Devo from Arctic again?
I would love to, because I stand by the fact that he's recorded some of my favorite records, like black metal records, but those fill into favorite records. I mean, that opens a whole can of worms.
Yes.
But he's done a handful of records that like mean a lot to me personally. So it was a matter of, timing and us and writing, and it just wasn't in the cards to travel out of the country and spend that much time there. Everything happened for a reason, and in the end I feel like I don't have any regrets. Like, that record wouldn't have been what it is now had we gone somewhere else. It turned into a completely different animal. And Jay was someone I had on the radar for a while too, because I recorded with him in the past with another band of mine, and I just knew it's a completely different type of band, but I know his style, and for us that's how it works. Like, we're not like a tight Exodus record or something, like a new, like, polished record. We're just sort of raw, and we need to sound organic. And as these songs started developing, like, half of the record was written when we talked to Devo. That was a conversation on my couch. I was like, I'd fucking love to make a record at your studio. And he was like, I'd love to, like, record an American band. And it was just totally, we were so set on it. But the songs have sort of like a rock and roll vibe to them a little bit. And I just think Jay understood. I sent him the demos, I sent him our old stuff, and I sent him some live shit. And I'm like, just do the math here and get back to me. Like, you're gonna understand what I hear. And I hear, like, us, like, heavy metal meets, like, what we are, and not compromised to sound vintage.
I get that.
He got it.
I get that.
More than got it. I wouldn't change anything.
Did you have to change any of the, because you had mentioned that you wrote alongside Magnus while you were thinking, like, okay, we gotta exchange ideas. How much did the writing adjust when you switched over?
That was already this. It would have been this record regardless. It just would have sounded different. There was no, I mean, the first 4 that were written already had this bigger vibe to it. Like, we knew getting into it. Like, we demoed 4 songs initially, and it was just, the songs were longer and a lot bigger. And it took a lot of time. Like, we sort of took a little pause from writing and stepped back and refined it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, the songs were so big sounding that they couldn't just be verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It had to be, like, monstrous.
Something big, a story, something that's, I mean, you're right, it's not an Exodus record, but it's not fucking Sun O, you know what I mean? I personally enjoyed it, and I think one thing that I wanted to ask you about is, and this is what I get from a little bit of your frustration that I've seen in a couple interviews, is that you almost feel like the complaints about the sound or the songwriting has turned music into something that's not meant to satisfy your interpretations of the music, but it's meant to satisfy, like, customers. You know what I mean? Do you kind of agree that maybe that's the reason, like, people are taking this form of art completely out of context?
A lot of shit is safe, and I feel like a lot of people just write what they feel they should write, or what sounds like heavy metal, or people just go through the motions and mean it to it. I could be wrong, but there's definitely a lot of bands that, like, we cross paths with here and there, or that are big, that it's rare that something's dangerous these days. And not that we're some dangerous, violent band that's gonna fuck someone up, but I feel our music has attitude, and live we have attitude. I got into heavy music because it was aggressive, like
right.
Punk and hardcore and metal in New York in the early 90s was hard, right? Wasn't to be fucked with. And I don't know, I just don't need happy, stupid shit. Like, I'm just here to fucking, get a message across. But
you actually came into, I guess it's sort of another comment that I had, which we talked about a little bit earlier on in the evening, is it's not the music that drives and forms an attitude, because some bands, I mean, honestly, will be like, yeah, I really like heavy metal, so let's make a lot of, like, brutal music to make a sort of attitude so it feels a little bit artificial. But you're the opposite. I mean, you talked about, like, all the shit you went through, that attitude, it just pent up and it came out into this music, and I think that's one thing that makes Hail Death a very, very original and genuine. It's hard to find albums that are original in sound nowadays, so the originality of your attitude is...
have an open mind like you.
Oh.
A lot of people, I don't feel, have the attention span for a 70-minute record nowadays. Everyone wants to just fuck around on Instagram and, like, do whatever. I don't know. Shit's not cool if it's not convenient.
Right.
If you have to put work into something, then it's not, it's not worth it.
Do you agree metal's running out of other sounds, so you think attitude is the thing that should drive metal, or what do you think is going to be the thing that drives heavy metal music?
See, like, Watain, for example. I'll use him as an example. I didn't understand why that new record got some negative reviews, and I'm sure it got more positive than, I'm not saying like it's shitty,
but it did get more negative reviews than Sworn to the Dark, Cassis, even Cassis Lucifer, which is considered like one of their lower production albums, I guess you could say. People
are just like, I mean, you put expectations on shit. That's obviously everyone does that, but they put that record out and they did some different shit. That's record, even the slower songs, or even when they use cleaner vocals or whatever, like, it still has balls. Like, I don't want to hear the same fucking record again. I want to hear something different. I want to hear them grow. If it's melody, if it's more aggressiveness, like, there's some nasty songs on that record, for example, on top of some more softer shit or whatever, and I don't know, like, I think it's cohesive, that record, and right. Flows. And our record, like, it's funny, like, when I heard that record, ours was already recorded by the time I got that, and I was just like, oh, that's funny. Not that I felt like that there was similar shit, because I don't think we really have much in common with them musically. I mean, a little bit, maybe. I mean, I still think you guys aren't necessarily... I mean, it's so hard. I don't really want to talk about genres, because you guys are one of those bands that I wouldn't talk about genres to. There are very few bands that I would be like... because of our lyrical content.
Right.
Like, but as a whole, this is a heavy metal record. Our record
You're not black metal, you don't have blast beats. Or...
Yeah, fuck you, read lyrics. You don't know how I live my life and what I do and what I stand behind. So that's when I want to knock someone's fucking face into a wall. And that drives me fucking crazy, because no one knows us. You don't know us. You're talking, like, you're basing shit on our old bands, and you think we are just hardcore dudes that started the band. You don't know us.
Or on history, too. I feel like, what if black metal back in the 90s was started by Black Anvil, and it was like...
What if our drummer is fucking 46 years old and was there when you people that are talking shit about us weren't around?
Right.
And he saw Merciful Fate when they came to America for the first time. Like, I grew up with that guy, and he got me into shit. Like, it's nobody really knows the history, and our tie to what we do, and it's easy to just make an assumption, and you don't know who the fuck you're talking about. So that's why I come at things with an attitude sometimes. I'm like, well, go fuck yourself. You don't know.
So, like, I know you guys did a cover of Under the Rose.
Great fucking song.
Yes, it was. And
I love that record. I think it's a fucking heavy record and a very overlooked record. There's some clunkers, fuck it, whatever. Band was a mess at the time.
When do you feel that it's appropriate for a metal band to cover a song?
I mean, I think there should be some meaning behind it. Like, I don't know. If you just do shit to do it with no heart behind it, what's the fucking point? Like, we like to do covers because it's fun or whatever, you know, pay homage to bands we give a shit for. But at least with the 3 covers that we've done since we've been a band, we've done some other little weird covery things here and there. Like, we used a Carnivore intro for a little while. When Pete Steele died, we're like, yeah, let's do a Carnivore intro.
Really?
Nobody fucking knew what we were doing. We did some shows with like Toxic Holocaust, Municipal Waste, and only people in the bands knew, which was cool. We did a Frost cover to Throned Emperor on the first record, and our old band used to sound check with that. Like, when the singer was gone, we'd just fucking do like Frost cover.
Wow.
And it was fun, and we did that on tour for 10 years. Vaughn was a band that, like, all of us love, and Gary would always, like, you know, while we were warming up, play Ved Tuck, and that just became a thing. He's like, we should cover that. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. It totally makes sense. Like, you're playing this, like, I'm humming this song all the fucking time, because whenever you plug it, like, that's just like a go-to sound check song. I always play, whenever I have to do a line check, I always play an agnostic front riff.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Like, there's songs that start with bass that I just always play. It's the fucking bass line that is form-fitting for a sound guy to get. Like, I play low and high notes on, you know, the beginning of World Peace. It's just a good bass line to play if you've got to make noise. Or just hit an open string. So, it's just, that's why we chose those 2 songs. Under the Rose, I was just playing the Elder and punishing these guys with, like, I always do that. They don't like shit, I put it on. You don't like Saint Anger? I'm fucking putting it on because I like it. Fuck off. And I make them listen to shit. But I had that record on the radio. He's like, you should cover this song, it's heavy. And I was like, I almost drove off the fucking road. I was like, done. Read those fucking lyrics. And he was just like, I know. I was like, you can interpret that shit however you want, and it fits with this record. It's not a part of the record, so I hate that, like, it sort of went out for review with the bonus track.
Oh, because people start to associate it with...
As the final track of the record. And it's not. It's 9 tracks, and it ends with the final song, Next Level Black.
Oh, yeah.
And
it ends.
With lyrics, that ends right where it ends, and there's a reason. The whole fucking thing was calculated psychotically for us. I wanted that to just be like something that lived on the internet somewhere, or it came out a little later. Right. It fucking leaked that way, and it went out for review that way. Love Kiss. I've always loved Kiss. Everyone in the band does. Like, what are we going to cover? Like, fucking Shout It Out Loud? Or Ladies Room? Like, a band like us, there's no real connection to any Kiss songs other than I love Kiss and I want to listen to a record here and there. We also did a Merciful Fate cover that's in limbo.
What? I'm going to look for that one.
It's somewhere. I don't sing on it. Someone else in the band sings on it.
Oh.
And
someone else in the band?
Yeah, I make a little cameo.
Turns.
I make a little cameo, but yeah, Rafe the drummer sings on that track.
Wow!
And you'd be surprised hearing it.
I didn't know Rafe
could sing like King Diamond. Neither did we. You know, Corpse Without Soul. And we'll never play it live ever. I never want to play this song. Learning those songs is. I mean, for me it was easy. Bass was easier, but the guitars are crazy. Those 2 guitar players are out of their fucking minds. And drums, we recorded it, and we don't know what we're going to do with it, but it'll live somewhere at some point.
Man. Yeah, that's definitely a good little treasure to keep in your pocket. Oh my God.
He kills it and can sing high.
Oh my God, that's going to be awesome. But that's you guys, defying expectations all the time. Thank you so much, Paul. This has been
absolutely
amazing. Thank you so much, and we look forward to the show. Thank you.